Everybody, welcome back inside another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is May 13th, 2019, and this show is primarily going to be a Shizuoka Hobby Show recap. So if you're not into that, well, shuffle on off. We do have two kit releases to talk about. They are kits that I picked up this weekend from my local hobby shop, actually, and they are brand new kits in the sense that they have not been released as of yet. So we're going to look at those real quick. In-depth look coming up with a what's in the box video later. Got some stuff that came in from Japan and then Hong Kong and whatnot. So there were two, like I said, two releases, brand new kits as far as I'm concerned. I guess technically speaking, the Tamiya Toyota has been available for like 5 or 6 days here in the United States at this point. I believe it's got a release date of the 19th in Japan, so it's still another 6 days for those guys over there. But I picked my local hobby shop had one, so I picked one up, so it is officially out. Since I can have one, you can too. So first up on the kit releases this week, if I managed not to drop it, is this the Mobius 1966 Ford F100 Flare Side. So this kit is out and about. Check your local hobby provider for when yours is going to be in. Mine got theirs in last Thursday. I picked this up on Saturday, so I think he had 2 or 3 left. He also was at a show, so there probably is more in the show inventory. But be as it may, I picked one of these up, and I'm taking a quick glance through it. It's molded in a tan color, which is a little different than your usual gray or white. But everything looks pretty decent right out of the box. One of the biggest issues that these Fords had in the last variation, the 69 through 72, was the, I guess there was a 68 too, wasn't there? I don't know. My Ford kits are not on this side of my domestic wall of kits, but one of the biggest problems with it, two biggest problems really with them, were the hoods didn't fit and the windows didn't fit. And at least from this kit and this series of kits, all of the 65, 66s, the windows fit from the inside. So that hopefully eliminates the problem of trying to get them to fit from the outside, which of course again was one of the biggest problems. The other one was the fit of the hood. I'm thinking that probably won't be as big an issue in this version, just due to the way that the front part of the cab is designed. I've gone through the box. Obviously, it's not sealed anymore, but I haven't really gone through it and cut the hood off the runner and try to put it on the body or anything else like that. Like, all in all, it looks halfway decent. The biggest changes with this kit, of course, are the bodies are new, and then the interiors are updated or backdated, however you want to look at that, to the 65, 66 thing. But all of this dirty bits on the bottom here, this is all carryover from the original Ford kits. Engines, transmissions, frames, axles, drivetrains, the whole 9 yards. Everything is going to carry over from those 69, 68 to 72 pickups. There is a new set of custom wheels in this kit. I don't think it's on the box anywhere. Oh well, I was done with it anyway. It's not a picture of them on the box, but they are a set of sort of aluminum mod wheels. They look kind of like a NASCAR wheel, except the poles aren't round like a NASCAR rim. But they're a nice looking set of wheels. I'll probably end up using on the short bed style side body. I would think will look good with that. It just, to me, wouldn't look good on the flare side. In my mind, the flare side with a straight 6, excuse me, is a work truck. Not necessarily in the sense of a shop truck or something like that, but it's just a work truck. It's a farm truck. It's a farm truck, but it's farm truck is a utility truck. It's a work truck, so it will have the hubcap wheels and stuff like that when I get around to it. The other kit I bought, which I was alluding to earlier, the Toyota being out, is this. It is the Toyota Gazoo Racing TS050 Hybrid. This is, of course, his car that famously won last year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. The car also is running the entire 2018-2019 WEC, the World Endurance Championship Super Season, because it loops from last year's 24 Hours of Le Mans to this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans, being with all the races in between within the season. It's going to do that again In 2019, 2020, although the 24 Hours of Le Mans will only be in it once because this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans is ending the 2018-2019 season, and then the 2019-2020 season starts after that. There are about, I think there's 3 more races towards the end of this year. Then there will be 3 more races at the beginning of next year, and then there'll be next year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. So that'll be how the 2019-2020 Super season works. Basically, they want to make the 24 Hours of Le Mans be the penultimate race of the championship series. But going and looking through this real quick, first up, Frankie and I have already gone over this car in depth for both its 24 Hours of Le Mans livery and its WEC livery, which is just very, very different, very mildly different. One thing you may notice on this car, straight out the gate, are, if you know the car well enough, is the fact that there are no actual 24 Hours of Le Mans livery parts to this decals as they come. This was kind of surprising up front, and then I went back doing a little bit of digging on the Mazda 787 because that kit will be getting a reissue in June, is the fact that when they reissued the Mazda Speed version, which is not the one that won, that's not the car that won, that's the white car with the blue stripes, the very simplified livery. It's not the Charge Renown car. That's the orange and green one with the checked lines going across it. When they reissued the Mazda Speed car back in 2012, it did not come with its Le Mans livery anymore, nor did it come with its Dunlop tire sponsorship. Now, this car obviously has Michelin sponsorship. You can see the Michelin logos on the tires and stuff like that. But they did not include the 24... On this placard right here, this number board, there should be a little 24 Hours of Le Mans logo over here on the white part. And then on this red part, it should be a logo for Total Oil. And on these side panels here, where this little blank white thing is where the WEC livery, the little WEC sign should be. So those things are missing from the 24 Hours of Le Mans livery, and for the WEC livery, the cars look identical throughout the WEC races. So if you wanted to just say, this is a Sebring winner, or oh, this is the Suzuka winner, they all look the same after that. But this red area here is gone, and there is just a WEC livery, just a WEC sign here, and the side panels. Oops, where am I? There. This again is just a square, and across the top of here is a DHL, the German Postal Service logo. Also, this little Ace and Transmission logo is a little bit bigger. This Mitsubishi Electric logo has the actual TriStar Diamond logo, the Mitsubishi actual logo, and there's an additional little associate sponsorship back here on the winglet. So Frankie and I will be, well, I will say I will do this because I did all the reference photos digging for this project. So we're going to be doing a fix-it for the 24 Hours of Le Mans livery, which will include the 24 Hours of Le Mans logos, the Total logos, and the WEC logos. And then we'll also be including in that a conversion livery, if you will, to convert it to the WEC season. So we'll have the WEC banner for the nose, the DHL banners for the side, for the doors, as well as the larger ASIN, the corrected Mitsubishi, and the little associate sponsorship. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. That goes on the little back wing back here. We're also going to redo the tire markings, the Michelin tire markings, because they're not wet-dry transfers in this kit, but they are on here backwards for some reason. Like they're on sort of that wet-dry transfer paper. It's still a water slide decal, but it's not quite a water slide decal like you would associate with it. So just to keep the funkiness to a minimum, we're going to go ahead and redo those Michelin logos for the wheels as well. So if you're interested in that kit and you want to build an appropriate one, you actually give a crap whether or not it has all the decals or not. Probably next month, I'm going to say. Frankie has 6 BMW M6 GT3 liveries that were in the process of being done. He's working on the very last one of those right now. And then these 2 fill-in liveries are going to be done. We'll talk about the one here in a second. And hopefully we'll get them all sent to the printer at the same time. So they'll be out sometime by probably the middle of next month, I would hope. Depends on how the last M6 livery comes. So let's go over to Japan, shall we? Because this is what this whole kit and caboodle show is about here in terms of giving you the lowdown on what was going on the show. Up front, not a lot of just craziness in the sense of like, oh my god, we didn't know that was happening kind of thing. There was one little sort of surprise on the Platts Nunu table as far as I'm not sure if the kit has been swapped out or it's been added. We'll get to that in a second. And then we got a new announcement for Hasegawa at the show. But pretty much everything else is stuff that we knew was coming. There were some rapid prototypes, so that was good to see. BMAX's table was completely and totally focused on existing kits that will be coming out over the summer. So we didn't really get a look at anything new in the sense of like the coming projects, the 911, the Peugeot Maxi, any of the other kits. So that was, I mean, I don't want to say disappointing because it's not disappointing, but I was kind of hoping to see some more progress on some of those more out there future projects, not stuff that'll be out before the end of the summer. Like the stuff that's coming out before the end of the summer, we know what it is. We pretty much know what it looks like, and there's not a whole heck of a lot in that. But then again, this is a trade show, so it's not James Duff's personal model show. So James Duff will just have to deal with it. So let me look here. We have stuff from Tamiya, we have stuff from Fujimi, or not from Fujimi, but Hasegawa, from Aoshima, from BMAX, and from Platts Nunu. Well, I say Platts Nunu, even though Nunu is technically BMAX because, of course, they were just on Platts' table. It is. We have one little thing out of Revella, Germany we're going to talk about real quick, and that is this. They had their test shots on hand for the upcoming little Deutz D30 tractor, the little snap-type tractor companion to the Porsche Junior 108. So this will be coming out. I can't. There was a date for it. I can't remember what it is. I think it's August now. Obviously, it's done. They're running an actual like test shot in the background there. So that will be coming up. They did not have anything else on display in terms of the new stuff. So the AR CUDA was not on display, but we're going to get that here in the United States probably in July anyway. So putting it on display is kind of pointless. And then there was nothing further about the Land Cruiser, which I would have liked to have seen, but it is what it is. So that was there, and that's sort of the one non-Japanese thing to talk about. Let's go over to Hasegawa first, I guess. So Hasegawa had us, with the new announcement that we didn't know about. This is probably going to be something coming later in the year, obviously, since it's not in the next couple of months. But that is this. BMAX is releasing a rally car, and there'll be another version of that Lancer in the coming future. But you know what you need? You need a street version of that Mitsubishi Lancer. So Hasegawa was like, hold my beer. And so sometime, probably, I want to say early fall maybe. Traditionally speaking, you only get these sort of toss-outs maybe 120 days in advance of when the kit release is, so that would put it sometime in August, September area. I would assume this kit will be out prior to the All Japan Toy and Hobby Show or Hobby and Model Show in October, or else they would have just announced it there as being a brand new kit. So that will be coming for anybody who's into your 1980s four doors. I don't know if the Mitsubishi Lancer actually raced in JTCC. I know that there was a touring version of it because there are pictures of it in Macau liveries, Gia Race Macau liveries. No, I am just completely and totally focused on the fact that I don't know the answer to that question. But at any rate, be that as it may, I'm trying to find my program that has my JTCC stuff on it. Anyway, that's coming out. One of the big sort of biggest, I say, modified reissue that Hasegawa was doing this summer is the YHP Hewlett-Packard liveried Japanese sports car prototype 1992 season R92CP. This has, of course, the new back half, basically. So it has new wheels, new tires, and then it has a whole new back half body shell, and then all those little pieces there are other back half, other parts of the back half of the body shell. So that will be. Oh, the decals were back there, but we kind of missed them. I didn't realize that they were in the back of the shot there. But at any rate, that'll be coming out in, I want to say it's June. Let me take a look at the list here. Yeah, that'll be a June release. And so that'll be coming out. In the background here, we've got the other race car reissue, only modified in the sense of the decals, and that is the 1988 JTCC R31 GTS-R Diesel Kiki sponsored car. So the next of the race car versions of the R31, you can see the decals there on the bottom. They give you sort of those two little stripes down there by the Hasegawa logo are fix-it stripes. Basically, it gives you a little decal material in case something tears or something doesn't quite cover as much as you think it should. But otherwise, it's a pretty simple design. It's a white car, and that's it. There's no two-toning to this at all. There are no new parts to this. It runs the new wheels that came in the Rico car, but other than that, it is just a straight reissue with new decals. I have one more picture. Yeah, here it is. And this is also featuring the Diesel Kiki, but more importantly, is showing the new 240Z North American spec cars. So you see there is the new grille, new mirrors, the bumper end caps for the front and the rear bumper to make US spec bumpers. And it's the left-hand drive parts will be new, but like I said, they were tooled up for that 1972 Monte Carlo rally version of the car. So that's, all those right-hand drive parts are not new to this kit. They might be new to this car if you have not seen the rally version of the Monte Carlo, but, it's not new to this kit, so they didn't put those parts out. And I think that pretty much wraps up Hasegawa's stuff. Hasegawa has a couple other, little bits and pieces of reissues, but none of them are, anything different. They're just straight reissues of existing pieces. So that'll take us over to, let me see, what do I want to do next? I will do, I'll do Tamiya next because they're the next with the least amount, I guess I would say. One thing that was sort of thrown into the reissue mix that wasn't announced with the initial batch of Shizuoka stuff is this. It is a reissue of their old 1980s, formerly motorized, but now it's just a static kit, Lamborghini Countach LP500S. This will be, as you see, red body with clear coat. I've not really been able to figure out whether or not the car is clear coated or if it's painted with clear red paint. Because one set of this obviously says red body with clear coat, and then the literature for it says that it is a clear red paint. The box there says that it is a red body with a clear top coat added. So obviously, I'm gonna go with Tamiya knowing what they're doing themselves. It's not the worst kit in the world. It is probably one of the only 5 legitimate LP500S kits out there in terms of what that body is, and the Campanella wheels that are in this. This is the only kit that has those, that have the protruding, I always call them rotary phone wheels because they have all the holes. The Aoshima kits of these, the 5000 Quattrovolts and whatnot, they have the flush face Campanellas. These are the ones with the sort of concave Campanellas. It's the only one that has them, so it may be worth picking up as a shelf model just for that. But know that this kit doesn't have an engine. It's a curbside, and it is very old in its origin story. But that's coming back out, so that's kind of cool. Also, when this is something we've known about, this will be a July release. It is the Leon Svestos AMG GT3. This is, of course, your 2018 Super GT GT300 Championship car. Very cool, very neat to get another version of the AMG out. Now, some people will point out to me that this does not have the sprint headlights, and no, it does not. It does have a new set of wheels tooled up for it, though. As we flip over to this picture, a new set of wheels. I'm assuming the headlights are just tooled on here because when they run this, they're not going to run it with the the other side of the wheels still on. You're not going to get 2 sets of wheels with this. You're only going to get the one, and that's why there's another fuel filler up there. There's the other set of headlights. The wheels themselves are new. Those are Super GT specific rims. I don't believe anybody else runs that style of rim, so it's very nice that they did do that. As far as the whole headlight controversy goes, it's not really a controversy because this car did run both sets of headlights. So yes, it ran sprint headlights, but it also ran the endurance lights. And while I would have personally preferred getting a model kit with the sprint headlights rather than having to buy them in resin, I will give Frankie my money all day long because, you know, at the same time, this kit is going to be substantially more, well, not substantially, but significantly, substantially, there's words that I'm using that are not really legitimate here. It is going to be somewhat, haha, there's an S word, more expensive to get this kit than it will be the original AMG. Because of the licensing that's being paid here, obviously to the Leon Svestos sponsorship, for what it is, plus it's Bridgestone tires, which is a new tire livery, compared to the Pirelli stuff. This is going to run, in the 40 plus dollar range, where the original one is in the $30 range. So $10, $5, $10 more. Yeah, it's a little bit more. But they do give you quite a bit of decals there. You start looking at it, there is carbon fiber for the door surrounds, for the fuel filler surrounds, for the front chin spoiler, or the front air dam, however you will look at it. The winglets have carbon. It's a very complicated design to get that sort of see-through silver that they have going on with the decal sheet, because the car itself, again, we'll look at the box art, all of that, the watch stuff is, very integrated into the body itself. And so trying to get that to look right and still show up is a little bit of a challenge. Legitimately, Frankie had considered doing this livery at one point because it was a championship car, and that was one of the big, issues with it, was trying to get the decals to display correctly when you put them on the car. So that project obviously doesn't exist anymore, but be that as it may, this kit will be coming back. This kit will be coming back out in that livery. There's one other Tamiya kit. We scroll down to where my pictures are here, and that is the June reissue of the Charged Renown Mazda 787B. Obviously, this kit is getting the rerun right now because it is, of course, the other Japanese car that has won at the 24 Hours of Le Mans back in 1991. So there's a June 29th release date there. If you look at this kit and you know this kit, you notice there's some decals missing from this kit right off the bat. So Tamiya, in this reissue, and here's a layout of the whole part. You see it is molded in white, so if you wanted to do the Mazda Speed car, now you can do it without having to paint a orange car white. Although, notwithstanding, the Mazda Speed cars were white, but it's very, very hard to find those kits for some reason. I can find you 4 or 5 of this kit in its original orange, molded in 1991 issue from Japan secondary market for around $25 to $40 a piece. But that Mazda Speed car, for some reason, doesn't exist, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it was a small run compared to this. I don't know. But be that as may, this is molded in white. A lot of people are like, "Yay, it's molded in white," and I'm just trying to figure out why that matters when you're going to paint this car orange and green anyway. Like, what are you worried about? Are you worried about your orange bleeding through your orange? I don't understand the point, but yes, it is molded in white for people who want to do, I don't know, fantasy liveries or something like that. There were a couple of Japanese sports car prototype versions of this car that were white, so maybe they want to do that. But, the kit is exactly the way it was from 1991, but it is missing all of the Le Mans stuff. So the entry placards for the 24 Hours of Le Mans are gone. It is missing the Dunlop logos, both for the wheels themselves, because the original 1991 kit had wet dry transfer Dunlop tire logos. Also has Dunlop written on the car like 2 or 3 times. And it is also missing the CB lighting logos, which they were on the car in 2 or 3 different places. So this is the other fill-in sheet that Frankie and I have dug around and basically had to scan in the real original decal sheet. And we will be offering you a little decal sheet that will include the CB logos, the Dunlop logos, the 24 Hour Le Mans logos, and a set of Dunlop tire logos as well. So we will be able to fix you up there as well. Now, some people will point out to me when I was talking about this to other people, well, there's a Studio 27 decal sheet for this. Yes, there is a Studio 27 decal replacement sheet for the original livery, but it doesn't have any tire markings at all, so you still don't have any tire decals. And do you really want to spend $25 on a set of decals just for what amounts to 6 pieces of decal? Or do you want to pay, like, I don't know, less than $10 for a set of decals that just gives you the parts that you need? I'm going to guess it's the latter. So There is method to our madness. Relax, we got this. Uh, you know what? I realized I forgot the Hasegawa kit that I wanted to talk about the most, and that is the brand new tool Toyota Starlet. So sorry for the herky jerk, but we were done with Tamiya. So back to Hasegawa for half a second. So yeah, this is a brand new tool kit. This represents a 1987, I believe, Toyota Starlet Turbo S. It was the top of the line Starlet. And let me get you a picture of the parts trees. And this will be what you're going to get in the kit here. Like I said, there is no rear seats. Well, there are rear seats, but they're separate. So maybe we'll get the Toyota Starlet JTCC car. That would be awesome. I would certainly not be at all upset about that. Excuse me. Hood's separate. Bumpers are separate. Because there's other versions of this kit coming. This is the late version, so you obviously know there's going to be an early version. It goes without saying there's going to be more than one version of this kit. So don't get all the hoods is separate. So where's my engine about it? I can't even with you guys about that stuff anymore. And nobody here on YouTube, you all figured that part out. But just in generally speaking, these you kind of see them up there. Above the parts runner, the crazy decals that there are for the seats on this thing. This had some 1980s cloth seats. Oh, the patterns. Give you a flashback if you're old enough to remember those. So yeah, that's very cool. Even cooler if it can be a JTCC version, but cool nonetheless. We'll go over to Aoshima next, because all of these things are sort of related to Aoshima by their distribution and by who they are. The new tool Aoshima kit that's coming out, of course, is that Japanese taxi, the Toyota Taxi. And so we'll take a quick look at a couple of the prototype mock-ups here. And we have this one, which is the car that is going to be the molded in black version. Now, the prototypes here are pretty much the same, but it's just there are stock numbers behind it, so that's how I know which ones are which. And this will be the white kit, and it's the one with the door posed open to show you what that's going to look like. Now, the door doesn't function. I mean, you could make it function, I suppose. But out of the box, it doesn't function. It's either open or closed. It's your choice on how you wish to display the model. And, yeah, so it's a rapid prototype. That's why it looks all rough and like it's hewn out of a block of wood. But gives you an idea of what the kit's going to look like in scale. And then we have a couple of little shots of things. Unfortunately, nobody took really good pictures of this in detail like I would have. But there's this is the Charasuka Works Skyline, and showing you here the new parts you're going to get, the new over fenders, new exhaust, new rear tail lights. The photo etch down there is the Liberty Walk generic photo etch that you can use on all 5 of the kits. So that's just showing there. This was a giant Liberty Walk display, just in general. And then we have this shot here, which is really the only shot of anything decent that anyone took of the Aoshima display, and it's giving you some like some of the background stuff here. You can see the Previa van, or the Estima, which is what that was over there, is getting the new front rear bumpers, new wheels, new seats, basically a whole new interior. They did an Estima Enema or Emina Enema Eminia, and they did an Estima. There's another trim level that just slipped my mind, but they never had a base trim level Estima before, and so that's what this is. It's taking those 2 older kits that were higher trim levels and converting it down into a base level car. There was basically no new parts with that NB Miata. That was just it's a reissue. The Crown Royal Majesta, or the Crown Majesta, is having basically 3 sets of wheels included with it, so that'll be interesting. The Toyota patrol car is there in the background. It's little, you can't really see them if they're off there. The new police parts and the new wheels and things like that. And then everything else is sort of down the line there. The other to the right of this picture is the initial D area. Unfortunately, nobody took really close-up detailed pictures of each individual initial D kit, and it's just more complicated to explain to you guys what you're looking at. But the initial D kits were on display there. They had them all there, and so trying to point out to you which ones were the new ones out of a sea of like 12 kits, again, would have just been confusing. So skip that, but that's a look at the Aoshima booth, and I think that's it from them. Got to do my like scroll back and forth here. Have I got everything? Have I got everything? Okay. So go over to the other side of Aoshima's display, which was the BMAX display, and they had several things on display. But again, they were all things that sort of qualify as we know this is coming. So it's cool to see, but nothing really new. So starting down here on the F1 end of things, two new kits for the two new reissues of the F1 kits. We've mentioned these in passing, I think, but not really taking an in-depth look at them, of course, because 1/20 scale F1. But there's going to be a BT52B Brabham kit coming. So this is a modified reissue. Represents the European Grand Prix version from 1983. And that'll be the kit down here on the bottom that has the Parmalat, or Parmalat, however you look at it, livery on it, with the new new body shell, and several new parts. There's also going to be a new photo etch set for that. Because photo etch set, individual photo etch set for all the things, but that's there. And in the background there is the upcoming McLaren MP42C that'll have the two Marlboro liveries, although you can bet your bottom dollar, as you can see they're not on there as it is, that you're going to have to replace those with aftermarket decals. But that F1 kit will be coming as well. And there's a parts runner there on the far left of all the new parts there. Unfortunately, again, we got to work with the photos that we're given with this. Then we move over to sort of the middle here, and this is showing the upcoming 1994 British Touring Car Championship Toyota Carina with the Bailey and Hoy liveries. A lot of people don't realize Bailey and Hoy even raced these cars specifically. I think are probably more better known and attached to the Volvos and other, cars in British touring. But this will show you basically your new parts that you're going to get with this kit. And that is a left-hand drive dashboard and a rear spoiler. Of interest is the fact that you don't actually use the rear spoiler to build either one of the Castrol cars. So there's a spoiler there for other versions coming up. Moving on down the line at the folks at BMAX, we have the upcoming, because this will be first of the two Mitsubishis, we have the upcoming Mitsubishi Lancer, the 1984 Royal Auto Club Rally car. This represents, we'll be able to build one of three Mitsubishi Lancers that were entered into the 1984 RAC Rally. They were Group A cars, not Group B cars, obviously. And within Group A, this car, the 102, finished second in class. There's a 106, I think it is, and a 98. And here's your layout here. 116 and 94. That was close. The 116 finished third in class. The 94 had a off-road adventure and did not finish the rally. So you can see what you're getting here in the terms of the kit. It is a curbside. Hood is attached. Bumpers are separate and things like that because, I said, I believe there will be a touring version of this at some point. Only because when you look at the clear runner up there, there's a set of headlights, a set of taillights, and then another set of taillights. So there's another year or another version or something else baked into this kit. Obviously, BMAX doesn't do any one thing. There's always another version of their kit in there. I don't believe they rallied this car, but I do know that it was well, this is the rally version. They didn't. I was going to say they didn't this car was not entered in off-road rallies. It was not entered in gravel rallies. So there's not a gravel setup for this, but it was raced in some touring races. So my educated opinion here would be there is a touring version of this coming as the second version. And you can see the photo which is done and up there at the top. So that kit is supposed to be out in June. We will see how close to being on time that is. And then the other Mitsubishi that is coming out is the Mitsubishi Starion Group A car, which in this guise is going to be decaled up in the 1987 Japanese Touring Car Championship. So very interesting. Here we're going to get a 2-in-1 decal set. We only saw sort of a teaser box art for this, the STP livery, but we're also going to get the Rally Art livery in there included as well. So that is very cool. You can get both of them. Don't have to buy two kits. Well, I mean, you have to buy two of them because you obviously can't put all the decals in one car, but you're not going to have to, go back and buy another kit in the future, basically, to get the Rally Art version. So that is very cool. Very excited to get both those JTCC liveries in one kit. And here is the parts layout for it. So this, I know, does have the, hood open. And I know people are going to be like, oh, motor, motor. No, no motor. It is, again, a situation where you are looking at future versions. Now, what those future versions are, I can't tell you beyond the fact that there is a supposed rally version of this coming in the future. I believe it will also be a Group A rally car. Uh, it was moderately successful in Tarmac Group A rally. I don't think you're necessarily going to see the Group X car, the four-wheel drive version of the Starion that they started working on for Group B, but then, of course, Group B died before they could get anything done with it. That car was finished. They did have a couple of running prototypes of it, and it did race in what is known as Group X, which would be exhibition and prototype. And it ran for a couple of years after Group B was over. So it would be very cool to get the four wheel, what was known as the Starion 4-wheel drive. Basically, it was a Starion with the drivetrain out of a Mitsubishi Pajero, the truck, as being the 4-wheel drive thing. So it was a very Frankensteinish car in the first place. But that would require, an entirely new, suspension and undercarriage system. So that may also be why, although in terms why the everything is separate, perhaps that will come in the future. But like I said, there's a rally version of this coming at some point. But right now we are dealing with the Japanese touring version. So very cool to see those things. That is supposed to be a July release. It's supposed to Starion and the Starlet are in, gray, sort of off gray plastic. It's sort of a test shot color, but the tooling is done. So there were a couple of things. I'm trying to think of what was. I don't think I have pictures of it, but pretty sure something was in white plastic and all of this. Must be something I don't have a picture of. I know that the BMW was there and its parts runners were in white plastic, but the BMW has been done and is actually out in Hong Kong. We're just waiting on the release of it here in Japan, but in Japan in general. So that was there as well. The DTMs of Evo Sport 2. Didn't take pictures of it because you guys know what's coming in it. So let's see here. I guess that leaves pretty much Platts. We're going to stop into Bell Kits real quick because they were on the Aoshima table. Now, the only thing they had there was the new Ford Fiesta, the 2017 World Rally cars there. But you notice, I just want to point out here down at the bottom that these kits now have kit numbers. So 17 and 18 are going to be the Citroen C3 WRC cars from last year. And then 19 and 20 are the 81 Monte Carlo and 82 Monte Carlo Opel Ascanas. So I'm just, there's no promise that that's the order they're going to come out in, but more than likely that's the order they're going to come out in. We're going to get another modern rally car before we get our first classic rally car again. The Opel Ascana is a Rothmans livery, so we'll see what that looks like. Bellkits did a pretty good job of sneaking in the Rothmans wording on that Tour de course rally car. So maybe hidden on a decal sheet somewhere out of sight that's never shown to the public, but it's there kind of thing. We'll get the livery. If not, I'm sure somebody will come back and cover the Rothmans livery on that. And so that's that. Not a whole heck of a lot to look at there, but just showing you what's coming. And that'll take us over to the Platts Hobby Nunu booth. So we'll give you an overview here to show you everything was there. Then we'll go close up on some stuff. Showing you the Audi R8 GT3, and some of the stuff is there in its ejected molded form on parts runners. So that to me means the tooling is completed, and we are now just waiting for production. There's also the between the prototype Audi and the prototype BMW M8, you see the completed and packaged R8. Actually, I don't think that's the R8, is it? Let me zoom in. Nope, that's an M6. My bad. I thought that was the R8's photo etch being done, but that's the M6 photo etch for the. I think it's the Nuremberg Ring version, since that's what's parked there in front of. But at any rate, the Audi's there, and then we see these three cars on the bottom, which are kind of new. So, looking at the stuff in depth and up close, the Audi R8 here in its prototype form, just gives you an idea what the car looks like built, basically. And then here is the the parts runners, showing you the mesh and the headlight, taillight runner, the wheel runner, the tires, and I'm not exactly sure what the black runner behind there is supposed to be representing necessarily. But at least, it's tool, it's done, it's coming. So, that's good to see. Cutting that dunnage out is probably going to be a little bit more of an issue than it's worth, only because of how it affects the window frame and how it'll hold the window and the window for the rear hatch. That looks like that may take a little bit of trimming to get out of there, without causing any more damage than you need to. But it is what it is in that sense. To use the old gag, you guys are modelers, right? So anyway, that looks like it may come out on time. Interesting note that there are a sort of a 3-in-1 decal with that. When it was announced, it was just the 1 car and the 2 car, and the first car, which has Marcus Winkelhock on it, finished 21st. Did not have a really great 24 hours of Spawn 2015. The 2 car finished 3rd, and or finished 2nd, excuse me. And so, that was a pretty good result. But they're also going to be doing the Team Phoenix car that finished 3rd. And that was one of the first things I pointed out to people that, sort of are not so much in the know, but people that, will listen to ideas. And said, you guys really ought to throw in that livery. Or, we're going to do that livery when a kit comes out, because that's the 3rd place car and it's a podium car. And so I don't know whose shell-like ear was whispered into, but apparently they're going to go ahead and do that 3rd place car, which is cool because then you can do 2 of the podium cars. So the 1st place car for 2015 24 Hours of Spa was a Mark VDS BMW Z4. I have begged and pleaded a couple of different people to do liveries of that car. So far to no avail. Maybe when the kit comes out, we'll get somewhere with it. But I would like to build the podium because being able to build the entire podium is kind of a rare thing. So there's no 2015 Spa Mark VDS livery, though. Also on display, right below the Audi, was the RSR GT3 version of the Porsche 911. Unfortunately, there's nothing new to show you here. This is the same rapid prototype, built test shot, whatever they want to consider this to be, that they tried to bring to Japan at the end of October, but unfortunately, their luggage got lost. So this is really not all that new. So it looks like the windshield wiper fell off and then somebody stuck it in there backwards. But be that as it may, there's nothing really new to show you there, but that project, of course, is still coming. And then the last 3 things here are these easy, well, 4 things. 4 things, because real quick, let's take a quick peek at that BMW M8 GTE. So, of course, this is a 2020 kit. This is a complete and total rapid prototype print. So that's what it looks like, wood. And overall, there's a couple different angles of this, but I was going to bore you with a bunch of angles of a block of resin. But overall, it looks pretty good. It looks, pretty prototypically accurate front to back. So that'd be fun to have. I really want to do the Zanardi livery from this year's 24 Hours of Daytona. And then we have the easy kits. Now, these apparently have been shifted over to Nunu from BMAX. A lot of people were like, oh, well, they shifted it over to Nunu. Because people seem to feel that Nunu and BMAX aren't the same thing. They aren't part of the same parent company. Just because Platts distributes one and Aoshima distributes the other doesn't mean they're not the same place. If you look at all of these things as we go through them, they say the BMW logos are part of BMAX Macau. The Audi say Audi livery from BMAX Macau. Porsche that we just showed you said Porsche from BMAX Macau. So these are all the same company. They're just different brandings for different distribution. So moving them to Nunu has nothing to do with anything as far as I'm concerned. Now, when these were announced, there were 3 of them. There was this BMW M1 Group 5 car, there was a BMW 320i Group 5 car, and then there was the 280ZX IMSA car. So we still have the BMW M1 E26 Group 5 car. So that's coming. We still have the 280 Datsun IMSA car, which everybody, of course, wants to build a Paul Newman car out of. But the one thing that is new, and I don't know if this is replacing the 320i, or this is in addition to the 320i, is this Mazda 253i RX-7 Group 5 car. Already somebody asked me, is this not the same thing as the 24-hour Daytona car? No, not even close. Yeah, so these look like they're almost clay models more than they are rapid prototypes. They look like they've had fingerprints in them. So, at any rate, those 3 Cars will be coming some point in the future. There's still no real word in any form or format as to what the hell makes an easy kit an easy kit. Like, you know, what's going to be different about them. I mean, they're already curbside, so I don't know. We'll find out as time goes along, but those projects are still in the works as well, just going to be coming out of a different end of the BMAX organization. So, anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed that look at the Shizuoka Toy and Hobby Show, and we'll see you guys on the other side.